In this video, we'll be covering some of the strangest, most specifically built tools ever engineered, and the reason each one exists. Starting with the slide hammer. The slide hammer is a long metal shaft with an attachment point on one end, a stop on the other, and a heavy weight that slides freely in the middle. The attachment point is where it gets clever. Depending on the job, you swap on a different head, a hook, a threaded adapter, a bearing puller, whatever grabs the specific part you're trying to rip out. You bolt or hook the end onto whatever you're trying to remove, grab the sliding weight, and yank it back as hard as you can so it slams into the stop. All that kinetic energy transfers into the object in one sudden violent shock. Mechanics use it to pull dents out of car bodies, rip out stuck bearings, and pull axles that won't budge any other way. Every other hammer on earth is built to drive something in. This one exists purely to yank something out using nothing but your own arm and physics. A skyhook. For decades, our skyhook was construction slang for an imaginary object, the tool you'd send a new hire to go find in the supply room as a prank, because a hook that just hangs in midair to lift things is obviously impossible. Except somebody looked at that joke and built a real version of it. The skyhook is a small, portable, hand-cranked lifting device. Basically a miniature crane you can carry, turn the wheel clockwise, and a roller chain lifts the load, roughly 1 inch of height for every full turn, held in place by a friction brake. It can lift up to 500 pounds and pivot the load a full 360 degrees for precise positioning, all without a motor, a battery, or a power outlet. A ball joint splitter. Mechanics call it the pickle fork, and its actual job is separating ball joints and tie rod ends, the tightly tapered connections that hold your car's steering and suspension together. It's a wedge with 2 sharp tines. You jam it into the gap, then take a heavy hammer and strike the handle, driving the fork deeper until the joint pops apart by brute force. The catch is that this process almost always shreds the rubber grease boot sealing the joint. So mechanics only reach for it when the part is already getting replaced anyway, because using it basically guarantees the thing you just separated is now garbage. It's a tool that comes with its own built-in warning label. This will break something, that's the plan. A bung wrench. Industrial 55-gallon drums seal their lids with a fitting called a bung, and opening one with the wrong tool is a legitimate safety hazard because those drums are frequently full of chemicals, oil, or other flammable liquids. That's why the bung wrench exists. Its head is covered in oddly shaped tabs and crossbars built to slot exactly into the recessed pattern on a standard drum bung, giving you the leverage to twist it open. And here's the detail that makes it strange. These wrenches are often forged from bronze or aluminum instead of steel, specifically because those metals don't throw sparks. A single spark from a regular steel wrench near the wrong drum could be the difference between opening a barrel and starting a fire. The next tool takes you completely out of industry and into a workshop that predates the power outlet by more than a century. An egg beater drill. Before electric drills existed, there was the egg beater drill, named because it genuinely looks like a vintage kitchen egg beater. You hold a stationary handle in one hand and crank a wheel with the other, and a set of bevel gears takes that slow hand cranking motion and multiplies it into a much faster spin at the drill bit. No motor, no batteries, just gears and your wrist. Woodworkers still reach for it today when they need to drill a small, precise hole in wood or soft metal without the risk of a power drill ripping through and over-torquing the material. Its mechanical advantage doing a job we now assume needs electricity. A Bushcraft settler's wrench. It's sometimes called a Scotch eye wood auger, but bushcrafters know it as the settler's wrench. It's a 1-inch drill bit attached to a perpendicular metal ring. You jam a sturdy branch through that ring to make an instant T-handle, and suddenly you can hand drill deep, clean holes into logs using nothing you didn't find lying on the forest floor. Here's the clever part, and that same metal ring doubles as a peg maker. Hammer it into a scrap piece of wood, and it punches out a wooden peg that fits the exact hole you just drilled, which means you can build a full mortise and tenon joint, the same joinery used in real timber frame construction, in the middle of the wilderness with 0 nails, 0 screws, and 0 hardware store. It builds furniture-grade joinery out of fallen trees. The next tool never leaves a construction site, but it's solving basically the same problem. joining metal without a single fastener. Stud crimper. The stud crimper looks like an oversized pair of pliers or a heavy-duty hole punch, but inside, its jaws is a punch and a die. Squeeze the handles and it punches a rectangular hole clean through 2 overlapping layers of sheet metal at once, folding the flaps over each other and locking them together permanently. It takes almost no hand strength to operate. Commercial drywall crews use it to snap together the U-shaped metal studs and tracks that frame entire buildings. And the genuinely strange part is that it welds metal to metal using nothing but the metal itself. No screws, no rivets, no consumable parts at all. Spud wrench. 30 stories up, this is the tool actually holding the steel of a skyscraper together. Ironworkers call it the spud wrench, and it looks like an ordinary adjustable wrench that tapers down into a long, smooth, pointed spike where the handle should be. When 2 heavy steel beams don't quite line up, a worker jams that spike through the overlapping bolt holes and levers them into perfect alignment. Then they slide a bolt in right next to the spike, pull the spike out, flip the tool around, and tighten the nut with the wrench end on the other side. One tool acting as a pry bar, an alignment pin, and a wrench used by the same person in the same motion, holding up structures where a misaligned bolt hole is not a minor inconvenience. Feeler gauge. We're ending on a tool that measures things by feel alone with nothing digital about it at all. A feeler gauge is a handle holding a fan of paper-thin steel blades, and every single blade is machined to one exact specific thickness. To measure a gap, you fan them out and slide them in one by one until you find the blade that fits with just the slightest bit of friction that specific feel mechanics train themselves to recognize. Whatever thickness is stamped on that blade is the exact size of the gap, whether it's a spark plug, an engine valve clearance, or a machining tolerance that has to be dead accurate. No dial, no digital readout, just precisely machined metal, sliding against metal, and a trained hand that can feel the difference between fitting and forcing. 9 tools, 9 problems that a normal hammer, a normal wrench, or a normal drill just couldn't solve. If you've got a weirder one sitting in your own garage, drop it in the comments and hit subscribe if you want the next round of tools